Well, SoFi is the latest high-profile Silicon Valley company to face accusations of an unrestrained workplace culture.
Since taking over as SoFi CEO, Anthony Noto saved SoFi. Would there still be a SoFi if Anthony Noto wasn't CEO? Probably. But would SoFi be where it is today without Anthony Noto? No, it wouldn't be. We'll be going over three main phases that SoFi had to go through to get to where it is now. If you're a SoFi investor, or if you're even considering investing in SoFi, this is a must-watch video. In this video, we'll talk about every stage that SoFi had to go through to get to where it is now. We'll talk about the downfall of SoFi, all the controversies, and how Anthony Noto and the SoFi team were able to save SoFi. In our 200 videos we've created, we have never ever made a video like this, so stay tuned until the very end or you may miss some very key information. We're not financial advisors and this is not financial advice, so always do your own due diligence. Chapter 1, the startup. Flashback a decade to 2011 when things were more simple. Inflation wasn't at an all-time high and no mass in sight. SoFi wasn't actually founded by Anthony Noto. It was founded by Stanford students looking to make a difference in the student loan industry. This included Mike Cagney, Dan Macklin, James Finnigan, and Ian Brady. They raised roughly $2 million from 40 alumni who lent an average amount of $20,000 to 100 students. Things were going great. As you can see here, they had a few successful funding rounds in the early stages. SoFi was starting to pick up momentum and more people were starting to be aware of the mission SoFi was going for. In 2 short years, in October 2013, they raised $500 million. In 2014, SoFi kept its funding rounds, even catching the attention of Peter Thiel, the man who co-founded PayPal and also founded data analysis company Palantir. Big players were starting to take notice of the massive potential of SoFi, and in 2015, SoFi made history and took the fintech industry by storm with the single largest financing round at the time, securing $1 billion in a Series E funding led by SoftBank. They got funding from existing investors like Third Point Ventures, RenRen, DCM Ventures, and more. In 2016, it got recognized as number 49 in CNBC's Disruptor 50, being the second largest online lender in the market at the time, having funded around $9 billion in loans. At this point, it seemed like SoFi was on top of the world. Nothing could stop the wrath of SoFi. SoFi's former CEO Mike Cagney even said, "As an entrepreneur, you always have ups and downs. Having been a proprietary trader earlier in my life, I was used to measuring the highs and lows. And with the highest of highs comes the lowest of lows." Everything was going well until Chapter 2, the controversy.
CEO Mike Cagney stepped down amid sexual harassment accusations. And Thursday, a former loan reviewer at SoFi filed a new lawsuit claiming she was repeatedly sexually harassed while working there. This is one of at least 3 lawsuits filed in recent months against SoFi.
It was a frat house inside the scandal that toppled SoFi CEO. Too much social and not enough finance, if you know what I mean.
No one would ever listen to me.
And Robert, you represented Brandon Charles. He was the original person to file a lawsuit against the company, claiming that he was fired for reporting sexual harassment. So how many women at SoFi have come to you since? What are they telling you?
We have several people talking to SoFi employees who are calling us. I'd estimate between maybe 30 and 50 people have contacted us. And a lot of people are just airing their experiences at SoFi. A lot of them feel like they were abused and treated unfairly, and they just want to tell us what happened.
And apparently, it wasn't just Cagney. This article coming out from Vanity Fair stated that even the CFO, NINO fanlo, was also involved. It also stated SoFi's toxic environment was apparently evident for some time. This is what SoFi had to say.
Against SoFi, Bloomberg News reached out to SoFi for comment, and a spokesperson said, "We take any allegations of sexual harassment seriously. While we can't comment on the specific allegations in this lawsuit, harassment of any kind has no place at SoFi. The board and management of SoFi are committed to creating a culture where employees can thrive."
Just a disclaimer, we're not confirming or denying whether or not this happened, but regardless, it was not a good look for SoFi. To add fuel to this dumpster fire, the FTC got involved, alleging that since April 2016, they made prominent false statements about loan refinancing savings in television, print, and internet advertisements. One online SoFi ad claimed refinancing student loans saves $22,359 on average, while another ad stated, start saving on your student loans, average monthly savings $292. According to the FTC, before a company runs an ad, it has to have a reasonable basis for the claims, meaning objective evidence that supports the claim. At a minimum, an advertiser must have the level of evidence that it says it has. After several years of building SoFi, billions of dollars of loans funded, and over 100,000 members, SoFi's reputation was going down the drain due to these claims and the workplace controversy. And there seemed to be nothing that anybody could do to save SoFi, or was there? Chapter 3, Anthony Noto Saves SoFi. On January 23, 2018, SoFi put out a press release announcing Anthony Noto, or as we like to call him on this channel, Commander Noto, as SoFi's new CEO and director, effective March 1st, 2018. We're going to go over the huge milestones that SoFi accomplished under Anthony Noto, but to get a better understanding of Anthony Noto's leadership and grit, we need a flashback to the early 90s. Anthony Noto graduated from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. It looks like their acceptance rate at West Point is around 8 to 12%, which makes it very difficult to get into. According to Wharton magazine, not only did he get into West Point, he played football in his junior and senior seasons with torn ligaments in both knees and was the highest ranking mechanical engineer major in his class. If you've gotten any value, like this video, share this on social media, and comment Noto Saves SoFi down below to be shouted out in an up-and-coming video. Flash forward to 1995, where he was a brand manager for Kraft Foods, then transitioned to being an associate at Lehman Brothers, then a managing director at Goldman Sachs, where he stayed from 1999 to 2008. From 2003 to 2007, he was the #1 ranked internet analyst from 2003 to 2007 from Greenwich Survey. He spent over 2 years as the EVP and CFO of the NFL, had a short stint back at Goldman Sachs as a partner, then became the CFO and COO of Twitter. For over 3 years, seeing all of his accolades and experience just proves that Anthony Noto does not miss. But now, we get to the fun part, how Anthony Noto saved SoFi. To understand what Anthony Noto did within the first year of being at SoFi, we had to go way back into the YouTube archives to find this 2019 interview at Code Conference. By the way, you could tell this was pre-2020 because there's no 6 feet apart. It may actually be one of the closest I've ever seen two people in an interview. Let's take a look.
Other things. If I talk to employees at SoFi today who were there for that, what would be the #1 thing they would say you have changed that has allowed the company to become sort of, from the outside at least, appear stable?
Yeah, what I'd say is the question they asked me my first week, Joanne said you should really go and spend time in all of the outer offices, don't start in San Francisco. So we started in Utah, went to Montana, New York, Delaware, and then Hillsburg, and then back to California. And the #1 or 2 question I got in every town hall meeting was, do you think we can build a great culture, and how will you do it? And so the #1 thing I think employees would tell you is that we've built the foundation of a great culture. Our goal is to have the best culture in the world, which sounds like a hyperbole, but it's really our goal. My view is it's about leadership, it's about alignment and accountability, and that's allowed us to get more products to market faster than the company ever has. The fact that we launched a native mobile app with these other financial products and they're scaling and really showing the benefits of our strategy is a direct result of holding each other accountable, being gritty, and really making sure we take care of each other to get the job done.
As you could hear from the clip, one of the first things that Anthony Noto did was build a foundation of a great culture. So what was Anthony Noto's plan of attack going into SoFi after accepting the offer of being CEO?
What was your message to the board about where the company was compared to what they thought when you walked in?
Sure. I met with the board in late December. I received the offer around that time, and I spent a week or two doing a lot of due diligence. And I went to the board and said, we're going to have to reset your expectations on volume of loans, and we're going to have to accelerate our pace of innovation in these other products if we're truly going to capture this mission that I pitched to you as part of the CEO search process. So last year we focused on quality over quantity of loans. That's a shorthand way of saying the company had underwritten a lot of loans that weren't profitable. And so we went back to unit economics. How much do we make per loan? And tried to get that amount back to a 40 to 50% variable profit margin. We were able to do that through better marketing, better pricing, better credit by the third quarter. And we're back to 40 to 50% variable profit margin, which is a huge LTV. That's critically important to the rest of our strategy because we want to bring people in through daily products like money, like invest, like relay, and insurance. And when they come in through those daily products and our content, they then eventually do other things with us. We already see a 20% cross-buying rate without us even mentioning loans to people who have signed up for the money product, and 15% cross-buying from invest to loans, again, without us even mentioning it. It's just in the app and available for.
It's still very.
Anthony Noto raised the profit margins by offering better marketing, better pricing, and better credit, and increased the cross-buying, which increased the LTV. Why is this so important? LTV means the lifetime value of a customer. Anthony Noto shifted SoFi's strategy to a more long-term approach. With SoFi's one-stop shop, customers are more incentivized to stay within the SoFi ecosystem. Why does SoFi have an edge over Robinhood, Webull, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and all the legacy banks? They all offer the same thing that they've always offered. Robinhood and Webull offer investing through their app. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they offer home loans, personal loans, credit cards. But Robinhood can't do what Bank of America can do, and Bank of America can't do what Robinhood could do. But you know who could do both? That's right, SoFi. You can not only get home loans and personal loans, but you could also invest in stocks, crypto, get the SoFi credit card, and check your credit score all on the same app. SoFi Money, SoFi Invest, and SoFi Credit Card were all under the leadership of, you guessed it, Anthony Noto. The next huge thing Anthony Noto did was acquire 20-year naming rights for the home of the Rams and Chargers, aka the SoFi Stadium. This move brought millions of viewers to the SoFi brand, leading to huge concerts, Super Bowl 2022, WrestleMania being announced in 2023, and so much more. Want exclusive lounge access when going to a concert in SoFi Stadium? Well, you need to be a SoFi member.
As you know, SoFi, the 8-year-old fintech startup, is putting its name on the most expensive NFL stadium.
Yeah, I think first and foremost is why are we doing it strategically, and that's both the on-location live experience that can bring our brand to life, but also these national telecasts that will drive unaided brand awareness, which is critical for anyone like a financial services company to build that level of trust. Secondarily, it's less than 5% of our overall spending, and we have a really strong and profitable lending business and $2.3 billion of cash on our balance sheet. So not only is it important strategically, it's not that big relative to our overall spend, and most critically, we have plenty of capital to do this and so many other things.
Remember earlier on in the video when we brought up Anthony Noto being the former CFO of the NFL? Could he have leveraged his connections with Rams owner Stan Kroenke and Roger Goodell? We think it definitely helped. The next power move that Anthony Noto did was aid in SoFi acquiring Galileo for $1.2 billion, which was massive. To save you time on the specific video, if you're not too sure what Galileo does, we made an entire video on it, so check that out after this video to get a better understanding. Link will be in the description. The next major move that was done was SoFi did its first international expansion play by acquiring 8 securities, which in turn became SoFi Hong Kong. We also dropped a video on this if you want to check it out after this one. In our SoFi playlist, we've covered almost everything that's happened in SoFi since it was IPOE. Speaking of IPOE, SoFi became a public company through SPAC under Noto on June 2021. On March 9, 2021, SoFi BC, aka SoFi Before Charter, announced an agreement to acquire Golden Pacific Bancorp, which then aided in the long-awaited bank charter, which got approved in January 2022. SoFi also launched auto loan refinancing through Lantern in partnership with Moto Refi. In March of 2022, SoFi announced its acquisition of Technisys, which was also a huge game changer. We think the combination of Technisys and Galileo is going to be massive for SoFi's tech segment in the years to come. Around the time Anthony Noto was brought in, SoFi cracked $25 billion in funded loans, SoFi had 430,000 members, and $5 billion paid off in debt, closing out 2017. Let's take a look at where SoFi is now. From $25 billion in funded loans to $59 billion in funded loans, 430,000 members to 3.5 million members, and from $5 billion in paid off debt to $22 billion in paid off debt. There's been countless milestones that SoFi has hit under Captain Noto, and he's implemented multiple strategies such as blitz scaling and the financial services productivity loop to get us here in a few short years. Now imagine where SoFi is going to be in the next 4, 5, 10 years. There's some investors that wanted to buy SoFi when it was in the 20s, but won't buy it now that it's in the 7s. Make it make sense to me. This wasn't all Anthony Noto. The credit is also due to the SoFi's board of directors, their leadership team, SoFi members, the overall market, and of course, all of us SoFi investors in the trenches. A lot of people have been messaging us asking when we're opening up our Patreon again, and good news. We're officially opening up our Patreon again on June 1st for only 5 days. Then we're closing it back up. We provide never before seen early access to SoFi videos before they drop, and we've even added a new SoFi Options Discord channel, so stay tuned. What do you think about SoFi's huge accomplishments that happened over the past 4 years with Noto in charge? How much credit should go to Anthony Noto? Would SoFi be where it is today without Noto? Let us know your thoughts down below. If you haven't already, check out our social media accounts and join our SoFi Investors Facebook group. The link will be in the description and pinned comment. Also, a special shout out to everyone in our Patreon community. You guys truly help to make these videos possible, and we really appreciate all the support. Shout out to Arthur Magazu, Wei Chu, Pietro Serra, Daniel Corbett, Mr. Welfare, Casey Patel, Jeff Sherman, Gregory Villar, Bo Park, Denzel, Shonda, Reginald Davis, Les Broadway, Christian Cardelphi, Kevin Bofrand, and Jay Bone. That wraps it up for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.